Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am so glad that you are here today. If you're new to this channel, welcome. My name is Audrey, and on this channel we talk about leadership development, team building, and career growth. Today, this video is really an important one, because I am going to talk about how to determine your work style. I have a two-part series that I am filming on this topic, and this is part 1 of how to determine your work style as a new manager. And in the next couple of days, I am going to be filming part 2, which will talk about how to adapt your work style to be more effective. If you stay until the end of the video, I will share with you 2 resources that will help you do some of the deep work that you need to do to determine your work style and what it should be. Before we get into the video though, I would love for you to like this video if you find it helpful and subscribe to this channel, so you don't miss any future videos. Alright, let's jump into it. So first off, let's talk about why this topic is so important. Why do you even need to know your work style? Well, every manager has a work style, and it's very important for you to determine yours because you model that for the people who report to you. So you might not know this, but your work style sets the tone for how others should work within your team. So if you don't understand your work style, you're going to end up being inconsistent in your approach to managing people and getting work done through people. And this inconsistency can lead to low morale, disengaged employees, decreased productivity, and all sorts of other bad things. So when you determine your work style, what you want to do is you want to be self-aware of how you naturally approach tasks and projects, and then use that knowledge to influence how you manage your team. This way, everyone on your team knows what to expect from you, and also it helps them understand what they need to do to be successful in their roles. Alright, so now that you know why determining your work style is so important, let's get into how you actually determine your work style. And there are 3 main components that go into determining your work style. The first component is your personality. Your personality has a huge influence on your work style. Are you someone who prefers to work alone, or do you prefer to work in a collaborative setting? Are you someone who likes to think about details, or do you take a big picture approach? Are you someone who is very structured and organized, or do you take more of a spontaneous approach? These are just a few examples of questions that can help you understand how your personality influences your work style. The second component to consider is your experiences. Your experiences, whether they are personal or professional, they have a great influence on how you view the world, and therefore how you work. Maybe you've worked for several managers with different styles and you gravitated towards one style over another. Maybe you had experiences where you were micromanaged, or maybe were not given enough direction, and you have an idea of the type of manager that you would want to work for. All of these experiences have shaped you and have influenced the style that you should have as a manager. The last component to consider is your values. Your core values also have a great influence on your work style. So if you're someone who values flexibility, then you're probably not going to respond well to a very rigid and structured work environment. They usually have a top-down approach to decision-making, and they tend to be very directive with their teams. The next work style is authoritative. Authoritative leaders are people-focused. They care deeply about their team members and want to see them grow. They try to empower their team members to make decisions and take ownership of their work. They're also big on collaboration and getting input from team members before making decisions. The third work style is the coaching style. Coaching leaders are also people-focused, but they also want their team to be high performers, so they focus on helping their team members develop the skills they need to be successful. They often asking their team members questions to help them think through challenges and come up with their own solutions. The fourth work style is the delegative style. Delegative leaders trust their team members to get the job done. They give their team a lot of autonomy and tend to get involved in the day-to-day work. They're usually pretty laid back and give their team a lot of freedom. Now, I want you to pause this video and think about which of these work styles resonates most with you. Which one do you think you would be most effective in, and which one do you think you would enjoy the most? Once you've thought about it, let's continue on and I'll talk more about this. So, now that you've thought about your potential work style, the next thing that you want to do is evaluate how effective your work style is. And there are 3 questions that you can ask yourself to help with this evaluation. The first question is, does my work style align with my personality, my experiences, and my values? If the answer is yes, then that's a good sign that you're on the right track. The next question you can ask yourself is my work style effective in getting things done? So think about your work style and evaluate, is it effective in getting things done? Does it help you accomplish your goals and complete projects efficiently? And the last question to ask yourself is, am I happy with my work style? If you're not happy with your work style, it may be a sign that you need to make some changes so that your work style aligns better with your personality, your experiences, and your values. All of these questions will help you determine if your work style is a good fit for you. All right, now that you know how to determine your work style, the next step is to figure out if your work style is effective for your team. There are 3 things that you can do to evaluate how effective your work style is for your team. The first thing you can do is solicit feedback from your team members. Ask them how your work style affects them and how it affects their ability to get work done. You can do this through anonymous surveys or simply one-on-one conversations. The next thing you can do is look at your team's performance. How is your team performing overall? Are they meeting their goals and completing projects on time and to specifications? If the answer is no, then it may be a sign that your work style needs to change so that it better meets the needs of your team. And the last thing you can do is look at your team's engagement. How engaged is your team? Are they motivated and excited about their work? Are they passionate about the work that they do? If the answer is no, again, it may be a sign that your work style needs to change. If you are finding this information helpful, please let me know by liking this video. Alright, now that you know how to determine your work style and how to evaluate its effectiveness, I want to share with you 2 resources that will help you do the deep work that is necessary to determine your work style. The first resource is an article from Harvard Business Review titled The 5 Styles of Leadership and How to Determine Yours. In this article, the authors identify 5 different leadership styles and discuss how to determine your natural style. I will put a link to this article in the description below. The second resource is a tool that can help you determine your leadership style and also your team's leadership style. It's called the Leadership Practices Inventory, or LPI. This tool is based on the book, The Leadership Challenge by Jim Collins, and it has been used by hundreds of thousands of leaders to help them become more effective. I will put a link to this tool in the description below. Alright, thank you so much for joining me on this episode. In the next episode, I will talk about how to adapt your work style to be more effective. See you in the next video.